Learning Land, today we are talking finger picking. I'm not going to show you specific finger picking patterns, but rather finger picking skills. So you can incorporate these ideas into patterns you already know, covers, original songwriting, anywhere you can use these creative applications. Printable tabs, becoming a Patreon, links in the notes, additional links in the description, my email if you want some one-on-one lessons. The ukulele, brain and attention span, when you got those three things, follow me on in and let's level up our finger picking. Idea number 1 is up. I did this entire lesson bar chord free, so that way I could hopefully get as many people involved in these ideas as I can. Now, some are going to be harder than the others. Kind of find the ones that are easy for you, practice them, and apply them in your own playing. For this first one, we're going to make this shape, which is the 5th fret of the G string, 4th fret of the C, 3rd fret of the E, with an open A. And this is called a C6 chord, or a C chord with an A note. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to roll through the top half like that. We're going to go thumb, thumb, index, thumb. So we're going to go G string, C string, E string, G string, thumb, thumb, index, thumb. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we're going to get our middle finger on the 3rd beat, open A. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3, right? 1 and 2 and 3. After that 3rd beat, index finger on the E string, thumb, thumb. So you're going through all 4 strings in order, A, E, C, G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. From there, we're going to move down to this shape, which is a G with a note as well, known as a G add 9. 4th fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. If you're having trouble learning this one, try to get these 2 fingers here first, and then put your 4th fret up, or the 4th fret with your ring finger. Same rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So by now you've also noticed both of those had the A string in them. Well, if we look at the next chord, F chord, we continue that trend with an A. Now with this F, you're also going to notice open A. That's the theme of this particular example. Same finger picking pattern, thumb, thumb, index, thumb, middle, index, thumb, thumb. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The last measure is the only one that's a little bit different. We're going to go back to that G shape that we did earlier. Play the first half the same. But then we are going to actually lift our ring finger before we go to the second half. So the last measure is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We play through these nice and slow. We get this. Okay, now the example here, the goal is to teach you of the power of these open strings. When you are finger picking, just randomly lift the finger up. And see what you get. Having an A note throughout this entire piece gives a really interesting drone tone. Our next example. So for number 2, we're going to start off with the G chord. And this first pattern you maybe have never seen before, but it's a great one to have in the bag. It looks and sounds like this for the first measure. Waking the G, and we're starting off with our middle finger on that high A. 1. Then our thumb plays the C string right after. 1 and index E string on the 2nd beat. Then thumb again on the and. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now if you've never seen that pattern, that's a good one to add to your pattern repertoire. But we're going to add some moving bass implementation here. In the second measure, we're going to go lift our index finger up for the 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3. Third beat lifted up. Third fret here. Third fret right below it. Open high A. 1 and 2 and. Now you could use your middle finger, roll over, and play open. Or you can keep your middle finger down and get your ring finger below it. So the second half would be 3 and 4 and. Put that all together, you get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Both measures nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. For this next one, we're going to talk about timing actually, and we're going to do the inside-outside pattern. We're going to make a D minor, thumb index on your C and your E string, then thumb on the outside G, middle. Now you probably noticed the theme. I'm using thumb for these two strings, index for the E, middle here. That isn't 100% absolute the case for every pattern, but it sure is for a lot of them. So do that pattern one time. Inside, outside. Inside, outside. But we're going to count it 1 E and 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 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So your thumb on the second fret of the C string is the 1 in every beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Simply lift up your ring finger, make an F chord, and repeat. Now, if you really want to level up here and benefit from this Foley, verbalize it and say it out loud. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Take it slow. 1 E and 2 E and. If you really want to get the most out of this act, to get the most from this particular example, you need to do two things. Start slow, verbalize it. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Okay, consistency is more important than speed. So the better you play it, don't try to speed up, just try to stay consistent. For the next example, we are going to try to mix eighth notes, 1 and 2 and, with our 16ths, 1 E and 2 E and. So this is going to be a little trickier, but because we practiced the other one and we got it down, and you did do that before you got to this one, it should be a little easier. It's thumb, thumb, middle. Thumb, thumb, middle on the high A. And that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and One other thing you'll notice is I keep my ring finger planted here. You can't really see it. Maybe if I... It's like my anchor. When I first saw people suggesting that, it was so awkward for me. But the evolution happened actually fairly naturally just over time. So there's one thing to keep in mind. It will really help you get muscle memory on the spacing of the strings. Now the counting is the same as last time, but we skip the 1 E. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're gonna make the F. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and boom. Now you can make this exercise much harder by switching every middle and index finger, going 1 and 2 and So we're gonna go thumb, thumb, middle. Then on the 2 and 4th beat, it's thumb, thumb, index on the E string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3. Let's do that just over the D minor. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. Now let's do it just over the F. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. Now let's put these two measures together. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. Slow and steady wins the race. Keep it even, keep it slow, keep it steady. Play it and get it down, developing muscle memory and rhythm before speed. Speed is last. Now we're going to take the 16ths to a whole new level. By adding hammer-ons, but doing so in time. We're going to play 2nd fret, open E string, hammer, then open A. So it's thumb, index, hammer, middle. Thumb, index, hammer, middle. Thumb, index, hammer, middle. So we're going to start very slow, again with the goal, keeping time and rhythm. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. A little faster. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. For the second measure, we're going to mix in eighth notes and pluck just C, A, 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and just like that. So these two, slow and steady, nice and even. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and. Doing this exercise in reverse with a pull-off is also extremely beneficial to your ability to fingerpick in general. Same timing, but it goes thumb, index, pull, open A. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And again, mixing it in with eighth notes on the second measure, taking it slow will also be very beneficial. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and. That last measure there, we mixed in both the hammer-on and the pull-off. If I caught you off guard with that, sorry. It just happened naturally as I was reading my handwriting and I saw what I wrote. So sorry for not giving you the heads up. Lastly is maybe the most important skill when it comes to Travis picking, folk music, bluegrass, is hammering on in time. At the same time as you play another note though. So we're going to make a D minor, lift our index finger up. Thumb is the first beat, second beat's the G string. 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 3, 4. So let's just start with that. It's got the open E. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Now what we're going to do though is we're going to hammer on the third beat. 1, 2 and 3. So your hammer on happens at the exact same time that your thumb comes down. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Let's do it nice and slow with D minor a couple times. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3. Then we're going to move to the F and do the exact same thing. 1, 2 and 3, 4. If you're struggling with the D minor, the F is actually probably a little bit easier because it doesn't have the potential of muting with this one. So if you're struggling with the D minor, actually flip this tab from D minor F to F and D. All right, I'm going to play it as it is written, but feel free to only use Fs or only D minors, or mix up the order if you want a little bit. The idea is here to get this skill, and again, we're fluidly hammering on while we're hitting other notes. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. Again, the most important thing, is that hammer on. Try not to rush it when you speed up too, because you have the tendency to make that sound. So we don't want, we want. All right, so take your time with it. Get it down slow before you speed it up. And these are 5 techniques to improve your finger picking: using open drone strings, adding moving bass, mastering the 16th notes, mixing 16th and 8ths, incorporating hammer-ons fluidly in your timing, and hammering on while you're playing another string. So I kind of think about 5. All those within 16 are kind of subsets of each other, but you could also think about it as 6 or 7 skills as well. And there you go, folks. And there you go, folks. That is finger picking techniques to take you to a whole new level of folky finger patternness that will guaranteed to surprise, kind of like playing something absolutely unique, distinct, beautiful, original, fun, spicy, but not overwhelmingly like a ghost pepper. Perfectly blended spices, herbs, oreganos, and just really cool jamming stuff. As always, we try to make hard stuff easy. We try to make easy stuff fun and interesting, and we try to make learning the ukulele your #1 priority, as well as guitar. So learning music, okay? All right, until next time, ukulele Wednesday, Saturday, guitar on Monday. Have a lovely day. Life is good. Keep on rocking, keep on rolling. Catch you on the flip side.